EMS, or electromuscle stimulation. And I get a little excited every time I talk about it. It's like a wetsuit, which has electrodes on the inside. And those electrodes run tiny electrical current to achieve the same type of muscle activation, the same type of muscle contraction than you would achieve by yourself if you were to pick up a heavy weight at the gym.
And by the way, guys, when he said wetsuit, it's not even close to how difficult it is to putting on a wetsuit. It is like a wetsuit, but it's super easy to put on.
What I've noticed the most from SQAI, which by the way, guys, you can literally do this workout while sitting down, taking a meeting, okay, is my definition, the muscle separation.
Here you have an ability to contract the muscle without creating that wear and tear.
EMS is one of the most, if not the most efficient way to train. But stories like this, and by the way, the stories are just so versatile and so different because somebody like you has a different use from EMS and SQAI than an average person,
right.
Or who is maybe looking to lose weight or
right.
just be more healthy and energetic. So
right.
It's just the breadth of applications is
incredible.
Yeah.
You can use it in so many different variations.
And the biggest thing that I find the value, which is one of the next questions I was going to ask you, is how EMS minimizes the wear and tear, right? Every time we push, pull, up, down, when we're working out, we're creating wear and tear to the joints and articulations. And here you have an ability to contract the muscle without creating that wear and tear, especially for the elder individuals, like in their 50s, 60s that have been working out like us since we were like 15. Your wear and tear on the body is much greater, so there's more prone to injury and just, joint pain, etc. So this is a way of reducing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see it day in and day out with our own customers, and many of them are people in their 50s and 60s, and we have people in their 70s who have, over the course of many, many years, they've accumulated injuries, maybe from CrossFit or high-intensity workouts. And for one reason or another, they either cannot lift weights or they don't want to lift weights. And kind of, how many elderly people did you see in the gym last time you went? Right. So for those people, especially, something like the SQAI suit is remarkably efficient, and really the number of options as you get older declines dramatically. When you're 25, you have a million options to work out. You can go lift weights, you can have fun. When you're 60, 50, 65, and so on, it's really difficult to achieve that muscle activation, which, by the way, only gets more and more important as we age, to have that muscle, to have those fast twitch muscle fibers. The reason being is that as we age, the fast twitch muscle fibers are the first ones we start losing. Literally yesterday we had a customer of ours who said, well, I don't want to step into a pothole and kill myself. This was literally what he said. And what he meant by that is that when you slip off the curb and you lose your balance, you need that fast twitch to kick in so you catch yourself. Yeah. If you've lost it over the course of decades of getting deconditioned, you fall, you break a hip. And by the way, 25% of people who break a hip and after a fall, they never recover. Yeah. So important to maintain, not only to maintain muscle, but to build muscle. You can absolutely get stronger and add muscle mass as you age with SQAI.
And just to kind of round out the thought that you were talking about, Miguel, because we have a lot of guys and females who, we take them through a process, they get reinvigorated, they have this new ambition to get fit, and they go to the gym and they're getting stronger. They do, obviously some people are on HRT, so that gives them added strength, et cetera, et cetera. And I always tell guys, I'm like, hey, be careful, because a lot of our patients will send me videos and stuff of them, lifting heavy weights, and I'm like, hey, listen, I know that you're motivated. I love it. It's awesome. Be careful, because your muscles get stronger. Your joints do not. That's right. And so that's where the wear and tear comes in. And then you get an injury at the gym because you're trying, your ego, oh, I'm feeling good, I can pump. And then you get an injury and you're out of the gym for 2 months. So, the added application for me with EMS is, like Miguel was saying, I get a lot less wear and tear to the joints. and I target 100% of the muscle fibers that I want to target. So it's an incredible technology for even guys who want to stay fit, who want to stay defined, but don't want to have to pay the price of an injury or having to weight lift for, an hour or two at the gym.
Absolutely. I mean, it's twofold. One is that you're eliminating the weights, which really can injure your joints, your ligaments, you name it. Secondly, because it's only a 20-minute workout, you no longer have to do set after set after set, which is kind of those repetitive motions that can injure and kind of wear out your joints over time.
Yeah, and one last rounding thought. So we go through this with athletes a lot. So the easiest thing for an athlete to do is overtrain. The easiest, right? Which has diminishing returns. So I go through this with all the time, and there's a concept that, hey, you can get a lot more done in less time, right? So the essence of it is that you're cutting down the time, you're cutting down the injury rate, and you're increasing the ability to remain fit without having to pay the price of obviously injury. So I really love the concept of being able to, the 20-minute workout thing, because one of the concepts that, and this is the point that I was trying to make, a lot of athletes will be like, man, I feel like I cheated. You cut my workout down from 2 hours. Now I'm only doing 35 minutes, and I feel like I didn't do enough. And that's when you're doing it right, because you're not overtraining. So with the SQAI, for me, the first times I used it, I was like, that's it? 20 minutes? Yeah. I feel like I cheated. Yeah. And I still remain. I mean, we've been using it for at least 2 months, and I've been able to maintain my physique, if not improve it, with just 20 minutes. Which is incredible.
I mean, they say there are no shortcuts in fitness.
Well, this
one is. This is as close as it gets.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me recap before I move on to the next question. Again, you're recruiting 90% of muscle fibers versus your traditional 40 to 50 if you're a professional athlete, if you're lucky 60, right? Reducing the wear and tear, maximizing, again, the recruitment of the muscle fibers. What am I missing? You're cutting down your workouts to 20 minutes, and you're getting the equivalence of an hour and a half, 2 hour workout in 20 minutes.
And that's because you're training all the major muscle groups at once.
Yeah. And you can do it from the comfort of your home, or if you want to be a savage like my brother, you can be at the passenger seat coming back from Orlando to get to this meeting, working out with a bodysuit in the car.
Let me tell you guys the story, man. I mean, I started to use it in so many different applications, and I loved it because one time I wanted to go to the gym. The gym is like therapy for both of us, right? It's kind of how I get my release, all this stuff, right? But sometimes like meetings come up and I'm not able to get to the gym, and the awesome thing about SQAI is like I would strap it on and I would take Zoom meetings, and I'd be like, people didn't even know. Sometimes I would take calls and I'd just be on a call and be like, contracting every 12 seconds, and nobody even knew, and I got it done in 20 minutes. So just recently I was like, I wonder if this will work sitting down. Right? So I put the suit on. My wife was driving. I said, hey, listen, I'm going to see if this will work. And I did it for 20 minutes. I did it for 30 minutes. I extended it a little bit. But I basically took a road trip where I was in the car and I got a full leg, glute, and ham workout. One of the greatest workouts in my life while sitting in the passenger seat of a car. Now, I don't recommend this for everybody. I'm just saying I'm giving you the extent of the sky's the limit to what you can do with the suit.
Yeah.
So thank you for that clarification. To be very clear, we don't necessarily recommend that kind of application.
Yes, of course not. I don't.
Because first and foremost, we developed SQAI to be an active exercise system. Yeah. And that's really how you get the most benefit out of it. You unlock the greatest value and the biggest bang for your buck in terms of the time you invest and the effort by combining the EMS impulses with organic movement, with organic effort. That's really what kind of gets you to the next level. Now, if you're someone who's got injured or someone who is relatively deconditioned, can you use SQAI by sitting on your couch watching TV? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
No.
Are you going to maintain muscle mass? Probably up to a point.
Yeah.
And then after that, as you get your mobility back, because that's one of the other benefits of EMS, you will naturally progress into the next step when you'll start building in some active movements and then continue to.
Hi. We're often approached by patients asking about effective solutions for hair loss or hair loss prevention.
As you know, we love precision, and we found this awesome company that does just that. Discover personalized hair care with Roots by GA. This advanced approach offers custom hair loss treatments backed by genetic insights. Here's how it works. First, complete a simple cheek swab and mail your samples back. Then, receive a personalized report and schedule an optional consultation with a physician. Finally, get your custom formulation based on your genetic results.
So don't waste time or money on hit or miss generic products that may not work. Take control of your hair health with precision.
Use our code for a discount and start your journey today. Or simply visit our website, go under MHI Recommends to learn more. For now, stay healthy
And God bless.
Grow with Scott.
Yeah. And you know, just to kind of bring Bruce Lee in his movie, like one of the shots was he was typing on his typewriter and doing an ab workout.
Yeah.
You know, so you could do it.
You could do it.
Yeah.
You could do it. And
I don't recommend doing this always. It's not about being lazy and just cutting corners, but sometimes our date gets caught up and you could still fit it in. So this system provides you with even less excuses, to not do the right thing or not achieve your fitness goals, because you can.
And it doesn't let you cheat because everything fires. It's really great at eliminating, imbalances. If your left side of your body is more developed than the right side, if you're, and everybody's different. And kind of the first thing that yoga instructors will tell you, well, nobody's different, nobody's the same on both sides of the body. So this really equalizes everything.
I wish I would have discovered this when I had my meniscus surgery on my knee. I had a bucket and handle tear, which is the worst tears you can have. I was bedridden for 6 weeks, and I'm obviously on testosterone therapy, on natural anabolics, and it's been almost 3 years, and I've never recovered 100% the muscle mass that I lost. And I would have just imagined if I had the suit, as long as you're stimulating the muscle, you're slowing down the progression of how fast your body's breaking down muscle. The problem is when you flat out don't activate that muscle, right? So if I would have at least had these electrodes, I learned for physical therapy, which I ended up buying a little machine. I'll show you later. It's just some straps that you put here to activate my quad. And my physical therapy that I started doing by myself, that I researched online because I was going to physical therapy and it wasn't working. And then I realized,
not only that, but it was expensive.
Because I couldn't, exactly. That's one of them. But I couldn't fully activate anymore my quad. I remember I just had no way, and I would focus my brain because I know the motor neuron connection to the muscle. If you focus on it, you can fire it. But I could not get my quads to fire until I started electrically stimulating the fibers, and then I started recovering. So even, I'm just giving an example. We don't recommend you to do this if you have an injury at that level, but if you know what you're doing, you can stimulate the muscle while you're bedridden for some time just to reduce the
that's what we're talking about. The applications are almost infinite, man, the ways that you can use this suit.
So versatile.
Yeah. Now, let's shift into weight loss. Is there any research behind EMS for weight loss?
There's a ton of research. Now, we're really fortunate sitting here today with the benefit of decades of science testifying to the effectiveness of EMS, be it for physiotherapy purposes, for getting conditioned, for getting stronger, losing weight. All of those, there's like dozens, if not hundreds of studies out there, peer-reviewed clinical trials, etc. We've linked to a lot of them on our website. We've included some comparison in the FAQs. But really, the first thing that I want to sort of make clear is that EMS is not something that directly affects fat tissue. It really, first and foremost, is a mechanism for getting stronger. Yeah. When you get stronger, you build more metabolically active tissue because especially the fast twitch muscle fibers, they're extremely metabolically active, which in turn helps you burn more calories and burn more energy and contributes to weight management.
Yeah, for sure.
In addition, which is really something really, really cool, the calories, the energy that you burn during your 20-minute session per minute of EMS usage is far superior than your gym workout. Because think about it, you're compressing 2 hours of gym work into 20 minutes. So your muscles.
I was going to ask you that because on the app it says the calorie counter, it's like a SQAI calorie counter. So I was like, and I mean, 15 minutes in, I'm like 400 calories. I'm like, there's no way. How can I burn
Yeah,
this much
he's an
calories?
expert. There's a variable to that.
I mean, it's like, whoa. So
That's right.
how
So-
accurate is that?
So this is based on a lot of scientific research and kind of the other. So part of it is that you're burning energy during the 20 minutes.
Of course.
The second part of it is that EMS leads to an increase in your metabolic rate, in your standing, passive metabolic rate over a 2-day period. So for over 48 hours after your workout, you continue burning extra calories. So when you
That's what you call
combine,
the delayed
when you
onset
combine
muscle
it,
soreness.
that's sort of the result of
That's
that.
one of the
flip side.
Yeah, one of the things.
So when you combine the increased energy usage or the calorie burn during your 20-minute session and the increase in metabolic rate for a period of 48 hours after your workout, you get
it's calculating the calories that you're not just currently burning, but the post calories that you will be burning for the next 48 hours because of how much juice you squeezed out of the muscle.
Yeah.
And so it's calculating that variable. So when you see 600 calories, that's really what you're
Gonna
burning
burn.
throughout the 48 hours, which is very cool. And it's pretty accurate based on what you showed me in the science, like how it's broken down.
That's exactly right.
And I'm going to give you one that you didn't know, which is I use the suit a little different. So I'll do the 20-minute workout, and then not all the time, depending on the day, because I try to avoid cardiovascular workouts on my lifting days. But depending on the day, if I can't get to it, I'll actually, I train a lot of based on zones from zone 1 to zone 5. All the research is done on zone 2 all the way to zone 5. Zone 4 is kind of like a dead zone. But to get into zone 5, my zone 5 is 172 beats. I already know my variable because I measured it. To get into that range, it is extremely difficult. Like running or bicycling or boxing usually gets me there when I'm shadow boxing. But with the suit, after my workout, I get on my tread machine, literally walking at 3 miles an hour, and I go into 60-70 mode of fully stimulating my body in that cardiovascular workout, and I'm able to get my heart rate up into that 172, almost my 95% maximum heart rate capacity with the suit while walking. So I literally have to stop, bring it down, rate my heart rate because I like to go from zone 5 or usually zone 4 because it's hard to get to 5, down into zone 2 and back up 8 times. There's a training, let me correct myself. There's a training called Sprint 8 that has a lot of medical research behind how not only can you burn fat effectively in 20 minutes, it's a 3-minute warm up, 8 intervals of 30 seconds all out with a 90-second recovery, and a 2.5-minute cool down, 20-minute workout. They have a lot of research on EPOC, which is excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. When you're able to get into that zone 4 and 5, the excess oxygen that your body needs to consume after for the recovery phase, it improves recovery and it improves calorie consumption because your body's consuming more oxygen even after the workout. Sort of the same thing as this, right?
That's the flip side of the afterburn effect, which is what
Absolutely.
About, yeah.
But my point of saying that is the most studied longevity predictor that's been used for over 2 decades. Now there's other ones, but it's very reliable, is your VO2 max, right? Which is the amount of oxygen, the amount of volume of oxygen you can intake in a minute. And just to give you an idea, the health hazard ratio risk, which measures the risk of adverse outcome and specifically significant increases in cardiovascular events and mortality, is what measures that. So, for example, smoking, coronary disease, and diabetes have a 2 to 4 time increased likelihood that you'll have an adverse outcome of mortality or cardiovascular issue, right? Then excessive alcohol is 1.3 to 2, meaning you're 2 times more likely to suffer from that, from an adverse outcome, right? Poor diet is 1.5 to 3 times more likely to suffer those adverse issues. Having a poor VO2 max, 4 times more likely.
Oh, I totally believe that.
It beats smoking, coronary, disease, and diabetes.
Yep.
Well,
Combined.
it's in that
Yeah.
it's in that range, right? But having a poor VO2 max puts you at 300% increased probability of dying
death.
early from some adverse outcome effect for not training your cardiovascular system. So my point, guys, I do everything not only to work out my skeletal muscle, but my cardiovascular muscle. And to do that, you have to be able to go high on the zone 4 and 5, and it's not easy to get. And personally, with your suit, I've been able to get there by walking. Obviously, I'm stimulating myself at a high intensity, but just simply walking, right?
And that's such a great point, because especially for some of our aging demographic customers, who literally just put on the suit and go out for a walk and put the suit on cardio mode, which is kind of these gentle tap, tap, tap sensation. The cardiovascular effect of a 10-minute walk on cardio mode is equivalent to running for half an hour or an hour. And the kind of the way you know that's the case is when you turn the suit off. You sort of feel a little bit wobbly. It's kind of like, whoa, okay, I didn't realize that I was putting so much effort into it, because it doesn't really feel that way. But when you turn it off, you sort of, I feel like I just ran for an hour. That's literally the sensation.
Yeah, it happens to me with when I first did the bicep workout and I tried to be funny and go up high. I mean, when I took the suit off, 5 minutes later, I could barely hold up a cup. So this is you also got to play with your sensitivity to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Sure.
Exactly.
So who can benefit from the EMS training? Young toddler, to professional athlete, to your mother, like.
So we don't recommend it for toddlers. Let's just put it, state that up front. But now we're essentially going into the versatility and the accessibility of EMS, which is remarkable. So there's like a number of categories, but busy professionals. And that was sort of my story. And you asked me in the beginning kind of how I got into it. But I was working a crazy job in finance, regularly doing 60, 70-hour work weeks. I just couldn't find the time to hit the gym for 2 hours, even though I loved it. And I did CrossFit at the time. So almost by happenstance, I walked into an EMS gym, which at the time was and still is owned by one of our actually co-founders. He's a medical doctor. He is one of the pioneers of EMS in the United States. But I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And he said, well, why don't you come in and try it? And I said, okay. And I was skeptical, didn't really know what to expect. So he told the trainer, just kill this guy because he's a non-believer. And boy, did she deliver. After 2 sessions, 2 20-minute sessions over the course of 8 days, 7 or 8 days, which, by the way, I almost couldn't walk. This is how sore I was.
Yeah, no, for sure. We both experienced
especially.
that.
I went back to my CrossFit gym, and in CrossFit, you measure everything. You know exactly how much you snatch, how much you deadlift. You just know all the numbers. So I loaded my barbell. I started lifting, and I just put it down because I felt that I didn't load it properly. And I look at the plates. The plates are all there. I'm just stronger. And this was after 2 20-minute workouts. So this was my aha moment. This was essentially I started kind of looking into this thing, EMS, which what is this? Is there science behind it? Is it a fad? Yeah, there is science behind it. It's been there for 60 years. Can we get it? How can we get this to people's homes? How can we democratize EMS? Because now you have to just go to a specialized gym. You have to, or pay a trainer, and kind of that can be $150 an hour easy.
The suit is a bargain, and especially when you think about the results that you're going to get. It's even more of a bargain.